This is Daniel, your Game Master and Master of Ceremony.
This is Tori, and I play Dooley.
This is Sorcerer, and I play Ty.
This is Becca, and I play Niedergrat.
And this is Odyssey, a Babylon 5 story. Welcome aboard.
Yes, that over there. Good. Now, over there a little bit more. That's good. Good. Now, that's the important one, yes? The cappuccino machine. It is a good way to my hearts. Oh, welcome. Don't mind us. We're just, it is a new season. It is a new day. It is a new, revelation out there that we had to work with. So we decided we had to renovate our space here for better filming, for better, for more drinks. I'm not going to lie. But, yes, come. Speaking of drinks, have you had this latte here? It's this entire latte. A little extra of the, but I think you'll enjoy it, yes. Unless you're, if you're Bakiri or Mimbari, perhaps not that one. If you're a pak'ma'ra, you won't even notice the difference. But I suspect you wanted to know more about the Dalmore Celestia, yes? Good. Well, we had a great revelation last time. Great mysteries abound. Great strings and structures all about. And we finally got to know a little bit more of the great mystery that's been hanging over our heads for, 45 episodes. Well, we know a little bit more of this mystery. But we have more to digress in this. So, I have to remind everyone there has been a little bit of a time jump as we are gone from Season 2, which was the last episode, to Season 3. Welcome to Season 3! Aren't you lucky? You made it to Season 3! Isn't this fabulous? Good. Now, I was going to elaborate more here about what happened last time, but one, I want you who have not heard anything to go back and re-listen, and two, I think I had a better explanation on reset. What do you think, Niedergrat?
Damn straight!
Thank you. There you go. Everyone had gathered around the shuttle, and it was the same shuttle that you guys took to get on board, which had vanished for a second or two, and everybody had a vision. Well, when everybody who is currently surviving came back to the shuttle, everyone put a hand on it, and the Madame Vidricini did something or other. You're not exactly sure. You guys all had the same sort of vision again, but in this case, it was slowed down a bit, and you caught the conversation between the very, very small fragment of Vorlon still in the Mimbari, Milgram, who was having conversations with this astral entity, for lack of a better term, who had mentioned that they are back, and the Vorlon had said something to the effect of, they shouldn't be back. How can they be back? And it said, I don't know, but they're back. And the Vorlon said, this is very bad. We have to go home now.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're talking about the Yithians. They should not be back.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that's what the discussion is here, too.
Okay.
Or Ty will, anyway. Assume that's what they're talking about.
Yes. Well, let's not lie. These guys have been a problem. You did see Vorlons completely shutting their planet down and keeping them all together in the hopes that a nova, a supernova, will take them down once and for all. But I'm also going to say this. Is that the only ancient race you guys have encountered so far today on this journey?
No, but they're all body snatchers, so whatever.
Sometimes metaphysically, sometimes physically, sometimes metaphorically.
Listen, I'm just tired of having my brain invaded.
By the way, we now have another bumper sticker. When you guys came back from that vision, however, two people had been watching you guys work. One was Tuvo, who was, again, partly processed, so he looks like a half Brakiri, half human hybrid. And Yorni, with her slightly new outfit and duffel bag full of interesting stuff, who had been waiting there for you guys to return. Apparently, while you guys were having the vision, the people and the ship disappeared for 6 minutes.
Happens.
Yep.
What's winking out of reality? That's fine. I do. That's called Tuesday.
I mean, you said it.
I've been doing that this week, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just kind of ignored timelines when it comes to this game, because in theory you guys should have been like, several seasons worth, so you're talking at least a couple of large segments of time, but it feels like, oh yeah, this happened the other day, we're fine. So, what's that saying? I'm ADHD. The other day can be any time from yesterday to my birth.
I mean, time is relative.
As the Yithians found out, apparently. So, you guys had all come back. Now, again, there was a number of people who were there, including the Psychops that you guys had talked before. They were apparently on the ship. The Mountain of a Drazi with a luchador mask had also been there, as well
Love that guy.
As well as Madame Vedricini and Padini Foglio, as well as Foglio's crew, his entourage. His
Entourage feels accurate.
Yes. Well, they are his performance artists, so
Entourage feels accurate.
I believe there's a goddammit in there somewhere. God damn it, Entourage feels accurate.
No, I'm just saying, like, the last scene of them you painted for us was them all gambling and doing drugs out in the hallway. Entourage feels accurate.
Fair enough. They weren't doing drugs specifically, but they were gambling.
I thought they were doing drugs.
Oh, no worries. So yes, so you had them plus a few other people who were on the ride with you. I believe also the Rangers were also there as well. Aparo and Kutbusek.
Yeah, I think we specifically requested the presence of Kutbusek, and then I guess Aparo's there as well.
Well, yeah, Aparo was also on the ship, so he would have been there at, if nothing else, at Madame Vedricini's request. So now there's some people who weren't there, very obvious. I mean, obviously Alan Gibbons was not there. Also, Connor was also not available. Also, a few others here and there were also not entirely available, but just how it is. I'm looking at my roster now. There. Oh yes, and there was one of the Abai delegation, but not the other two. Stuff had happened, and the several game that were with you the last time did not arrive. So,
I mean, they're methane breathers, so they've probably got some issues to deal with us accidentally blowing up their section.
Also,
not
they got
the whole section.
Into bugs. So.
No, I mean, I'm just
they won't be
saying,
coming.
there's probably some necessary
Flashbacks. Is sorcerer having flashbacks?
There we go.
Yeah.
I get worried about anybody wearing a helmet these days.
Fair enough. That's where you guys had left with this particular bit of knowledge. Now, I hadn't made any bit of a other form of cliffhanger, though this was a bit of cliffhanger because something was both revealed and now what does this mean? At the same time, yes, there was the flesh ship that had left, that had basically been shot its way out of the ship, destroyed a number of fighters, leaving, thankfully, Denny alone. Or at least Denny was smart enough to kind of go, you know what, you're in charge. I'm just going to get out of your way now.
I trust their sense of self-preservation.
Well, after it just watched it eat or, acid up plasma or something that it just kind of destroyed another ship. Yeah, she kind of went, you know what, I could open fire. Nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to back away slowly.
Hey, discretion is the better part of valor.
That's true. So yes, they so some of the people weren't there. Also, again, we had a gentleman who started us at first, whose character is gone, so he didn't make it back. I'm just going to assume that he's dead, mostly because I haven't talked to him in months. Not that I assume the player is dead. I'm assuming his character is dead.
I can't remember the character's name.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. I have it listed somewhere. I don't have it listed that much simply because I'm like, well, he would have been on the. He would have been playing with us. Oh wait, he didn't. Oh well, never mind. So yes, you've got a couple of these situations. You just watched everything change. Yes, you're still dealing with the fact that you guys are on the far side, as far as anyone knows, of Vorlon space. You have this strange planet out there, triune planet, that is called the First and Last Outpost, and you also have a couple of other things that have come to come to pass recently. One, you found out there were former agents of the shadows working in a particular area. You found them out, and that's how you got both Tuvo slightly adjusted and how Yorni now looks different. Also, that's where Wagner got dropped off, and nobody's asked a question about it, but that's fine. You have the chapel, which is, again, taking a small section of the area and seems to be drawing in people for a particular faith, and it kind of worries you a bit. The captain has been put on disabled simply because Captain Joan Starenko is kind of nuts now.
People usually get put on disabled after they start foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Even I know that.
Fair enough. But Captain John, it was Miller, right? He was promoted to essentially captain in transit, a field commission, as you were. Rand, that was the other guy's name, was Rand. I just found that part. Cool. I believe it was John Miller. Someone please correct me. I can't find where.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound immediately wrong.
We'll go with that.
I'll work with that. Yes, good. I have notes everywhere. And yes, you also found out the bugs were called the Kulati. So, yeah. And then you also had to deal with Doc Rule, who at least one of you knows is a war criminal who has done unspeakable acts in the name of, let's just say, science.
Yeah, Ty hasn't really had time to talk to everybody else about this yet.
Fair enough. So, but after your little vision quest that happened, what would be y'all's next step? I'll let you guys talk amongst yourselves.
I'm worried that a large chunk of the ship is missing now.
Oh yes, there was that part too. I almost forgot. Yes, a number of people have gone missing. Now, I will say this for that part. You know at least where a percentage of those missing people went to.
Oh, well, yeah.
Brains in jars?
No. Flesh ship.
No,
Where did the flesh come
the ship now.
Still don't like that phrase.
If you come up with another one, I will leave that up to y'all.
Bioship?
Bioship works, okay.
Organic spacecraft?
Ty's really pushing for evacuating still, and has been for a while now, actually. Let's be real.
Fair enough. So yes, you've got these evocations and you just had the vision. So again, how do you choose to act? I guess is the big question.
So they were supposed to come up with a plan for evacuation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How's that plan going?
Okay. Well, let's assume that for the season break, there has been a month passage. So we're going to do that month now. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
So in said time, yes, they have decided to evacuate a number of people. They're doing it in stages simply because it's going to take time to establish base camps on the viable moons, I should say. And so it will be done in shifts. Again, there's only so many shuttles they can go through, as well as they're trying to keep the ship as active as possible, simply because this is also where most of the resources are, power, food, water, all of that is still in the ship. So it's very much like colonizing a new land. You don't just, you can't land this ship. Number one, it won't be able to land, period. But
Not that kind of ship.
not that kind of ship. But some of the shuttles would be able to transport people over in the same way that a 17th century ship would then transport people to land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know what Mirgrat's been doing.
What's Mirgrat been doing?
They've been spending the entire month pulling strings to make sure that they, the brains in jars, Dooley, Ty, Tuvo, Wagner, Kutbusak, and diplomatic attachment, and also Yorni are all on the same like shuttle to go down. Like,
Okay.
they've been pulling strings to make sure like everyone that they want to be together stays together.
Give me a diplomacy check.
We're in the
diplomacy
process
or in-
of.
Hold on a second. Sorry,
Yeah, didn't we like pack up because like we were about to like leave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we were doing the thing with Madame Vidrosini where we had to go down to the surface of a planet to like do something prophetic.
That's true. Well, then you guys had the everyone put their hand on the ship, and all of a sudden you disappeared for 6 minutes, and that kind of freaked a lot of people out.
So that canceled our day trip.
Not necessarily. I'm just going to say that by the time that we open the next episode, and I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes now for this episode, everybody enjoy. Welcome to Behind the Curtains. My name is Dan. I'll be joining you this evening. Odyssey, a Babylon 5 space drama. Let us look more into the characters therein.
Like Mirgrat, Ty, and Dooley are just sitting in director's chairs and bathrobes.
But then you have to tell us, what's your favorite word, your favorite curse word, when you use your actor's, I have to do the full inside the actor's studio bit. So basically, okay, they weren't planning to do expeditions down, but again, they have to establish the base camps. Manager did City want everybody to come down, so let's assume that by the month after, they've established at least a couple of base camps on a couple of planets. The methane one is going to take a lot more, so they've asked the methane breathers to either, if you're not in your encounter suit, please stay in the methane breathing part of the ship, which most of them have done fine.
Don't they have to do that anyway?
Well, true, but basically, they've asked them basically not to make an appointment to go down to their planet to set things up because it's taking a little bit longer. So
Yeah.
so they're basically saying don't expect a vacation, and even then, they don't want them to put on their encounter suits and go down to the planet that's not a methane breather, because that just complicates matters.
So they're in quarantine.
Essentially, they're ship-bound quarantine. They can still do the usual stuff they did, but they can't leave.
So they're in quarantine.
In quarantine. Now, most of the now here I will say this, that after a month has passed, at least a couple of base camps have been established on 2 or 3 different moons down there of various different attitudes, climates. They try to find the most accommodating climate. It's everyone. It's not like the old Star Wars. This is an ice planet. This is the forest moon of Endor. There's always multitude of climates on every planet, except for the barren rocky ones, because they're all barren rocky ones.
We call those Mars.
Yes, Mars, the moon, certain ones around Jupiter, further beyond. But
Mercury.
again, they're starting. Sorry,
No,
what?
actually, Mercury has 2 climates: facing the sun and facing away from the sun.
Wait, Mercury doesn't have a rotation?
I can't remember, but
Okay.
whichever side is facing the sun has a very different climate from the side that is not facing the sun.
Yes.
Okay.
Although Venus is also a uniclimate sort of planet, simply because almost all of it is volcanic gases.
Yeah, I mean, Venus is uniclimate because if you have a heavy enough insulated blanket, it's all just blanket o'clock.
Exactly. So yeah. And I'm recycling that. That should be fine. So yeah. So basically, a lot of this has been very basic camps. A couple of the medical people went down. A couple of the science team went down. Madame Vesdrasini has stayed, but has been organizing a expedition to one of the other moons based on a couple of visions she had, and she's been asking for, again, the people in the vision, because she constantly feels like they need to be there. Now, some of them are more than happy to go. they're not doing wrestling matches anytime soon, so your giant brick of a Drazi, who is named, I had it here a second ago, it was, oh, where'd it go? Oh, yes,
Rick.
Kaluta. So yes, Kaluta is more than happy to go with y'all. Your usual group was also, as you mentioned, with you wanted to make a influence check and pull strings, make sure it was on the same thing. Will be there. However, Wagner, last you checked, was still with the association. Who had...
right, I forgot that he flipped on us. Well, I'm not pulling strings for him then. He chose his side.
Ty isn't gonna go back for him.
Okay, my new intern is Kaluta. I need someone to lift shit.
You will have to convince him of that, but we'll get to that. Because he is not just he is not a intern for hire. He is a gentleman of sport and strength and honor. He is also, of course, a lucha, which means he's going to, if you let him, he will fly anywhere. I mean, like, leap. Oh, yes, but I do want, Mirgrat, give me a diplomacy check just in general, just so I have a basis to go by. And yeah, influence would also be good, so if you want to do both, you're welcome to do so. Just tell me which is which. Becca?
All right, diplomacy or influence?
Let's start with diplomacy, then we'll go to influence.
Okay.
That would have been your diplomacy of 12. Okay, let me get your influence, please.
Okay, so for influence.
Uh-huh.
Am I doing pak'ma'ra or League of Non-Aligned Worlds?
Do League of Non-Aligned Worlds. In this case, the pak'ma'ra might be able to help, but this is an ISA ship, so you're dealing with them specifically.
Okay. Okay, that's my league holy shit!
Okay, 14.
I mean, I can roll my pak'ma'ra influence to see if the
go ahead. I have a feeling of something, and I'm going to pull out not my usual cards. I'm pulling out the flashback cards, and I'm working on that story engine because that's fascinating. It's just I haven't figured out how to use it right.
Yeah, it's a little complex.
Just warning you, my pak'ma'ra influence is off the chain.
Well, okay, then perhaps you should think about feeding it properly.
That would be a 26.
Okay, let me pull out a couple of flashback cards because I have a sneaking suspicion of something, which again might add a little bit of another element to look into, or may not, but we'll see. Survey says. Okay. Ooh. And okay. So like I said, I'm using the flashback set instead of the traditional plot twist cards. So the 3 cards that I pulled out are Festering Insult, False Memory, and Witness to History. Okay.
All of those sound extremely accurate.
Considering all the weird crap you guys have been going through, yeah. So basically, one thing that has happened over the course of the last month, the pak'ma'ra ambassador went missing.
Oh.
And
that's bad.
That's very bad. And the parties involved, again, they're somewhere on the ship. They don't know what's going on. They haven't found the pak'ma'ra for a bit. And they, again, which the rest of the pak'ma'ra are like, wait. Someone that important with that much knowledge in their gut isn't here. This is a problem. Now, while the pak'ma'ra themselves have basically been keeping to their own quarters, the Narns doubly so. By the way, any Narn in steerage has basically kind of said, this is Narn space. Anybody who doesn't have red eyes and red skin, get the hell out.
So it's gang rules now on the ship.
Not quite. Well, we're talking the steerage area more than anything else, and not quite gang rules. It's more of just, how do I put this? I used to live in San Francisco, and I used to live in the Bay Area, and during the day, there are plenty of places you can go, no problem, everything's fine. You go, you spend money, you leave. But if it gets close to dark or close to a certain other times, you pretty much realize that maybe I don't want to be here.
Those are gang rules, Dan.
Those are gang rules, Dan.
But basically, not unlike certain sections of Babylon 5, particularly when you get to down below, I guess gang rules.
Yeah, those are gang rules.
Those are literally gang rules.
Okay, fair enough. You have already established in our previous conversations that I am white, so just deal with it. Anyway, so the pak'ma'ra have also started doing some of that too. And they don't do it as in the whole, if you don't have face tentacles, get the hell out. It's more of, for the pak'ma'ra, it's closer to a gentle nudging of maybe you want to be over there.
They just mention that they're about to eat dinner.
Exactly. That's probably the best way to do it. They'll say, "Oh, you've come to join us for a meal? Please come, come join us." And everybody else will be like, "You know what? We gotta go. If you want to be
I
here,
suddenly remember an appointment on the other side of the ship.
Yes, I'm needed on Mars.
The pak'ma'ra are masters of soft pressure.
Yes, but some of the other areas aren't so bad. Now, granted, there aren't a lot of Centauri or Minbari in the steerage area. Mostly, you find a lot of humans, some Narns, pak'ma'ra, some Brikari, Drazi, and a few other random assortment. But so they're kind of playing a little bit more by the territorial rules, except for the humans. And people probably have a number of questions about that. But continuing on, saying yes. So during that time, while the ambassador was missing, people were wondering what was going on. When the ambassador's body was found, and it was found 5 days after death, which is, lucky enough, perfectly ripe. But they asked somebody to do the autopsy, and since Doc Rule was kind of busy and most of the other med staff were kind of busy either treating people or going down to the planet, they actually did ask Ty, whose alter identity is still a doctor, to perform some of the autopsy.
I feel like Ty would have immediately gotten Mirrorat to do it instead.
Mirrorat volunteered.
It's instantly been like, yep, all right, not my problem.
I will always volunteer to autopsy a friend.
We're just spewing out the bumper stickers.
Yep.
But yeah, so when you do the autopsy, it was in the view of a lot of the other pak'ma'ra society, because this is a big one. And yes, the ambassador was killed in a particular way that it kind of, just destroyed their brain. Everything else was untouched, just their brain got destroyed. And nobody knows how or what. Even your autopsy reports come out inconclusive. It doesn't even look like blunt force trauma or even a chemical. It was just as if, again, like the skull was fine, the skin was fine, but but a drill bit had gone into the brain, scrambled it up a bit, pulled out, and there wasn't an entry or exit wound.
Almost as if the brain had been eaten by a cloud of bug nanite.
Things.
Quite possibly. But with that in mind, this is where you're going to have some fun, Mirgrat. With that in mind, yes, there was a ceremony to honor the ambassador, which meant a few people would not be allowed in to watch the ambassador get consumed.
I mean, we don't need brain anyway. No one's trying to get prions here.
Exactly. But again, ceremony was had, big ceremony for this case, but that also made Mirgrat the highest ranking pak'ma'ra on the ship.
Oh my.
So increase your pak'ma'ra influence by 10?
Holy shit!
By 5, by 5. I
Are you sure you want to do that? Yeah. I was gonna say, my influence bonus for pak'ma'ra is already 16.
Yeah. Increase it by 5 because now you are technically an extension of the pak'ma'ra government. Granted, once you get back to ISA space, this may change simply because this is for the localized pak'ma'ra. You don't have a large network to go with. But also for the ISA, which includes this ship, you are now technically, in some ways, considered a ranking officer. You're an ambassador on board, a representative of the pak'ma'ra. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? The pak'ma'ra interests. The interests.
Yes.
So in that case, your ISA influence goes up by 5 as well.
Okay, so I need to have that. So
ISA. You have it. You have an
ISA political?
Sorry, what?
Political?
Yes, ISA political. It's mostly localized again to the ship, but again, assuming everything goes back and people are recorded, this will be added to your reputation of someone of note and someone of esteem. So it would add to your influence as well. So, unfortunately,
Everyone knew the day would come when Mirgarat would seize power.
in this case, it was very much power thrust upon them, simply because, again, you're technically the highest ranking pak'ma'ra as a librarian in the ship. Technically, this means you can move into the ambassadorial quarters.
I do.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh my goodness.
I move everyone else with me. We're moving up in the world, gang.
You're moving on up to the east side of the ship, whatever. I guess that's really the starboard side, or is that anyway?
I don't know. The ship's rotating anyway, so.
Not the center part. The center part's fine. But anyway, yeah. So you move a lot of people up to the quarters. The quarters are very nice. It does take a while for them to clear out some of the stuff from the ambassador stuff, because a lot of the personal stuff had to be removed.
Oh, I'm having that all put into into a storage closet or something. Like that's getting saved.
Exactly. But again, after that, since it is supposed to be essentially a large suite hotel room, that you can bring other people into no problem. So for the month that you're gone, you've had to not only go through the ritual of finding the diplomat, diagnosing the diplomat, devouring the diplomat, but then also shifting your stuff to here, which also has one other side effect. The side effect is that since you are the highest ranking member of the ambassadorship on the ship, while you do have, let's just call it priority in case of emergency, you don't have priority going down. They're sending the colonists that were supposed to colonize the other ship, the other place a while ago, first to do the hard labor. So
I mean, that's okay. We have mysteries to solve, and also I'm allergic to hard labor.
Exactly.
Maya is incredibly weak, so she will be no help with this.
Now, granted, this also means that if you want to go down and your influence is a lot better, you can request a shuttle for scientific research or for whatever. It's a little easier to get your hands on a shuttle. So that's you. Julie. So
Yes.
I talked to you a little bit about the class you chose and a few other things. Kali is still chief security officer, just bar none. She's doing a great job. She's a little overworked, but she's doing a great job. Security has been a problem simply because, again, people panic, they don't know what's going on, but it's not as bad as it once was, simply because by the time the month has passed, approximately half of the ship is missing. So, again, while you know where a number of them are, or were, there's still a number that are unaccounted for, and you're not sure what's going on. So the mystery has kept the security people on their toes. The number of people to observe has gone down.
Right.
So, which has help matters. But Kali is still in charge. She's still working with a number of people that you have worked with already. I believe since you have the brain of Chuck Osteen, the human, has disappeared. He has completely turned off his link and gone into steerage and apparently gone into hiding as far as anyone can tell.
That's not good.
Yep. So there's that. Since I have the flashback cards, was there anything else? But in this case, you've been promoted to, again, you're still a lieutenant, kind of considered a full lieutenant. And while Kali does outrank you, she is still technically a non-com. And so it's kind of a weird
know
break.
that I would be considered anything other than that either. I mean, and by the way, there are 2 ranks of lieutenant in most military structures.
First lieutenant, second lieutenant.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm just learning what I can and sticking by my friends when I'm not on duty. So
Okay.
because this is all weird. still have questions that aren't yet answered, so some of that.
For the most part, you're basically now considered bridge crew. You're a high-ranking security person, though technically, if you were to get, very specific about it, you are very specialized in security. Okay, this is based on what I know, and it's not exactly correct, but oddly enough, it was from a Babylon 5 convention that I learned this. I worked for a convention, I know, great surprise, in the 90s. It was a Babylon 5 convention called Stellar Occasion. But there were people who got me the gig because they were running security. They were people making sure everything was fine, nobody pulled a knife, nobody did anything bad. They did great, and they were just acting essentially the police officers for the convention. They hired me as what they called Secret Service. And
Okay.
I love it already.
Yes. So when I went to say something, I said, "Hi, I'm with Secret Service. I need something." Like, "Yes, sir. Absolutely. How can I help you, sir?" But nobody told anyone. Secret Service was a glorified gopher for the command and control staff. Literally,
Okay.
one of the big jobs I had was, hey, one of the dealers can't leave his booth. He wants a couple of signatures from the guest. Can you, go grab a couple of pages, stand in line, and get signatures for him? And I
Okay,
said,
that's
"Sure."
actually cool, but yeah.
Which is how I met Claudia Christian. And she screamed at me.
Well, what
Because she says, "Hey, what can I sign for you?" And I lay down 3 pictures. She just started screaming. I just dropped to my knees because that's how I reacted at the time. But so in this case, what's going on with Dooley isn't unlike that. You're bridge crew, but you're specialized bridge crew in that you've had the most exposure to all the strangeness that's going on. And while you're under the security banner for both rank and privileges, you're pretty much acting as an independent agent for the bridge crew, and your assignment is figure out what the hell.
Oh, Dooley acting as an independent agent. This is so different from what she's used to.
Well, let's just say it goes in with the situation, but now, because you've been given essentially an officer's rank on board the ship, you also get a +5 influence for ISA, because you now actually have a rank, and you get +5 for security. So they actually do give you things like security codes if you have to go into a door or something, so you don't have to pick the lock.
Okay, that's really cool.
All right. And because I did the same thing with
you said +5 in security and +5 in what?
ISA.
Okay.
And because everybody else, let's see. Oh, wow. 3 cards you get from this flashback deck. You'll like this.
Will we?
Phobia, Nightmare, and Best Friend.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
What'd you say, Becca?
I said, that's me!
Well, with everything that's been going down, interestingly enough, I'll give you this little hint, and I think over the month you figured out some of this. A number of the pak'ma'ra have stayed amongst themselves. The Narn in that area welcome you because you're part of the ship, but also part of help keeping them alive. I'll give you a +3 to your Narn influence as well. Narn civilian.
Okay. Okay.
But this has caused a number of problems in that the Narns are not superstitious. They have their traditions, and this is going in the other side of it. The other thing you're noticing is that amongst the population of people who are going down and disappearing, Narns are not on that list.
It's almost like they're not psychic at all.
Almost.
The other thing about this is that you still have to have a long conversation, or I guess let's say you breezed over a conversation with Yorni, who has become a little bit more knowledgeable and has decided in some ways to be your sidekick.
Nice of her to help that promotion.
Oh dear.
So she is still learning her new skill set and has come up with some interesting tricks. She's got this book that she reads all the time, and she tries to practice some things out of it. You've tried to read it a couple of times, and it just looks like gibberish. Absolute gibberish. lines and not like, you know, an alien language or something that shakes up. It's like being an English major who opens up a physics books right to the high calculations.
So
Whereas
it's a math textbook.
Yeah. Someone who goes to a math textbook, whereas sorcerer, you can look at that and go, "Oh, that's that." The answer is 6. An English person will be looking at it and go, "That is a beautiful piece of art." Moving on.
Here's a real life example. So I had a friend who was doing like graphic artwork in the early 90s. Home computers were still not in every house. And we were talking about something and that he was doing and, you know, discussing file types, JPEG, whatever, you know, which one was best for the circumstance he was using it and how to integrate it into, I think it was Microsoft Word 3 at the time or something like that. And at one point in time, and his dad looks at me and goes, "You understand all that, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." like, why wouldn't I? It's computer stuff. His dad had no clue. So,
I'm picturing her reading like the Voynich manuscript or something.
Yes. Are you talking about the Lovecraftian Voynich manuscript, or are you talking about?
I'm talking about the actual illustrated codex that is handwritten in an otherwise unknown writing system.
Oh yeah, I just saw a video about that too. The Sephric, right? The one the guy just did this whole alien world in an alien language nobody can can figure out, but it actually has a rhythm.
No. I'm talking about the 15th century manuscript. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
It's a thing. You'll like this, Dan.
I've probably heard of it before, but again, I'll have to look this up again because yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, at some point in time, can I steal that book that she has and bring it to Mirgrat to look at?
Okay, so you want to try to borrow the book or otherwise steal it from. This is a subterfuge, I believe. So
I mean, just for like a day and then return it type of thing. I'm looking up my subterfuge.
Uh-huh.
Not the best. 16.
16. Okay. Well, at one point, because Yorni does sleep still, you try to borrow the book to hand it over to Mirgrat to say, "What is this?"
I mean, maybe take it to a photocopy machine or something.
This is the space 90s. We don't have photocopy machines.
Yes, we did.
You know, copiers here.
Because we don't have cell phones where we can take pictures of it, but
okay.
we did have photocopy machines in the 90s.
Okay, we did, but I'm thinking about on the show.
Future 90s.
Yeah, in the future 90s, they did everything by crystal, so they did very little by paper.
Well, there's got to be a way of copying it, taking a picture or something, because
I'm sure there's a way to get it transferred to data crystal.
When that company that goes to do their archaeological digs, they show pictures of things that they IPX, yeah. They show. We saw this tablet in this wall and this strange thing, and they always show a picture up on the screen. So there's got to be a way.
Okay, but yeah, you want to get pictures, scan it, something to get the information off. Well, 16 wasn't quite good enough, and you realize this is probably where the phobia kicked in. Because, well, you didn't get an electric shock. It was more like somebody had poured liquid nitrogen into your vein structure, and you got to feel it run all the way up your arm to your brain.
Oh,
that does sound unpleasant.
And it brought with it little visions of little beings in very large, visceral areas that just looked down on you and says, "Oh, you want something, don't you? What do you want?" And that is enough to bring nightmares for days.
Yeah, I'll wake up screaming.
Yes. She is exceedingly apologetic about that. She says, look, maybe it's best. This is, ancient secrets that only we're supposed to know, and that's why I'm learning them. But it's probably best that you not do that. There's apparently security devices on these books.
I would like Mirgrat to look at it. I am concerned.
Okay. since we're doing the what exactly are you concerned about?
From my point of view, a lot of it's the unknown. She's learning this stuff from an alien race that we don't know about.
Okay.
Who
She
may or may
says,
not be body snatchers.
And same way, eventually, I want to try and convince her to get a full body scan from medical.
okay.
I think she's technomage. She mentioned that, right? Yeah, she did.
She did say she was doing stuff for power, and she did actually at one point, with a huge force of will, make a letter appear out of fire in front of her.
Yeah, Ty thinks that she's become a technomage because Ty used to watch the Technomage TV show.
Oh yeah,
on
you
Mercury
mentioned
television back in the day, and so she thinks she knows what technomages do.
Ironically, the episode that I'm currently editing involved you saying, "Oh yeah, we're looking for technomages." Really? Yeah, they used to be on this cartoon show. They used to be turtles.
Yeah, the Technomage show.
So, Teenage Mutant Technomage Turtles. So
That extremely accurate cultural documentary.
But yeah, so you're thoroughly believe that she's a technomage. She hasn't announced it or anything else like that, but based on the fact that yes, when you saw her emerge from the cocoon, she did have new implants along her body, and she's been able to pull these couple of tricks. You think that's what's going on. She hasn't said it herself. Dooley is left to her own devices as to whether or not she believes anything. But she did, after this conversation, she says, look, I can only let know something, a number of stuff, because, she kind of taps her head and says, there's only so much I'm allowed to reveal. But she pulls out a piece of paper from the duffel bag that she got. She says, I believe we have something that could help, but you have to wait for, and she looks at the piece of paper, does math in her head, 35 days. In 35 days, if you trust me, I think we have an answer for this. This is directed to Dooley, by the way.
Yeah, no, she's just looking confused and kind of shaking her head. Why 35 days? What? And how
actually,
can I trust you?
Yeah, if you trust me is a hell of a fucking caveat.
Yeah.
She flips around the piece of paper, and some of it is just, again, jumble. But there is, as far as you can tell, a certain planet's moon cycle has been listed at a certain time when it is a full moon. Now, the planet in mention is just not anything you've heard of before, ever. So it just kind of goes in your brain and comes out the other side. But again, the fact that you almost feel like you're looking at a piece of paper with a clock on it that lists the seconds, like counting down.
That's some Arrival shit.
She says everything has to be done a certain way, but I think there's a way that this will answer all our questions, and I don't want to give too much because then she kind of sighs. Then it hurts me.
Okay,
so,
that begs the question of what questions do we have that you think will be answered?
What am I? What can I do for you? How I can be of help, and also what's in the book and where we are.
Those are all really good questions, actually. I think she's kind of hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
So she's very, very thankful. By the way, while she still has this kind of, she's still wearing the outfit she has, she's kind of reverted back to, I won't say it's a maid's dress, but it's like a lady in waiting's dress. Except this one has, of all things, a hood on it and an outside jacket. It's like she's wearing a hoodie with a leather jacket over it.
That's a good look.
Yeah.
I mean, we got her some new clothes. She doesn't have, lower class clothes, so...
Yeah. But you can't tell if this is just her style of choosing or part of the tradition or what. And it's not even the clothes that she had before, because you actually got her, as you said, regular clothes, and they were in good colors, too.
Mm-hmm.
She's dressing more in black and whites right now, which if you ask her about it, she'll say it's Orny. So...
I mean... Yeah, that should be interesting because she's still Centauri.
She is indeed, very much so. Shaved head and everything.
Okay.
So, all right. So, Ty, you've had a month. What is Ty planning to do for this gap of time?
Well, let's see. Other than keeping her kid from making any more terrible decisions, she's probably very interested in what her other self is doing in the church, the chapel. Okay. And also she has this book. She's probably gonna be trying to think of a way to, like, use it to blackmail Dr. Rule somehow.
Mm-hmm.
For money.
Okay.
As you do.
Like you do. Well,
yeah, I think those two things. Yeah,
okay. So keeping your kid together, that's pretty much fine. You know, he's had a bit of a trauma of this. He watched you vanish for a bit. So he's a little nervous and scared about what the heck happened and what the heck's happened to me. So, and also the fact that, if memory serves, he was grounded, really grounded.
Yeah,
double,
he's
triple secret
extremely grounded.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone hates being grounded.
Probably for the whole month. Let's be real.
We're talking Butters level of grounded, sort of fear.
Butters level of grounded?
Oh, did you ever watch South Park? Okay, never mind then.
It's fine, I got it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, it's okay. I'm gonna throw a couple of cards out. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Okay. For you, the 3 cards thrown are Triumph, Collective Memory, and Kept Secret.
Yeah, sounds like Ty.
Yeah, this is all extremely Ty.
Nothing new here.
So, as for the Kept Secret, that's the easy one. I'm guessing you eventually approach Doc Rule when he's treating Captain Storenko, who is, for the most part, stabilizing, but she every now and then spews little blue fluid, says, damn Mbari under her breath, and still looks like if she were to be not sedated or not otherwise calmed, she'll probably be hulking out at any moment.
I'm not sure that Hulk is stabilized.
I have these drugs that Rule gave Ty to give to her.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ty would give those to Mirgarat for analysis or something to figure out what the hell is in them.
Okay.
I would analyze the hell out
Before
of them.
approaching him.
Okay. Mirgarat, would you be so kind as to do a biology check?
Yes, I would. Do have to check what my modifier is.
I'm sorry, you said modifier and I heard motherfucker. I don't know why.
Because that's equally as likely for me to say.
I gotta check with my motherfucker is.
Oh my god, I saw it and then okay, there we go.
Yep. Under
I saw it and then I went to type in my roll and it immediately went, oh hell fucking yeah!
What did you do? You
Wow,
got 30.
I rolled a 19 for a total of 32. Tell me what the hell is in those drugs, Dan.
It's an experimental formula, and that's obvious. A lot of it isn't stable. In fact, the chemical formula changes from pill to pill, mostly based on instability to the chemical and age. So it will actually erode after a while, like a lot of pharmaceuticals do, but this one is inconsistent in its eroding. So you could
what I'm hearing is whoever made this was bad at making drugs.
Well, it's not so much whoever made this was bad at making drugs. Whoever did this was trying to figure out something and is working on a completely new set of biomechanics. These are neurological assisted drugs, which both, as far as you can tell, should in theory amplify certain parts of the brain to encourage things like telepathy if you happen to have the gene, to encourage intelligence, but also a state of calm. It's supposed to activate certain parts of the brain that actually allow for a certain level of stoicism, which would allow the rest of the other parts of the brain access to that energy so it could do things like essentially regeneration.
Okay, Dan,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Go ahead.
Have you, in fact, handed me something that, with a little work, could be used to temporarily increase my P rating without taking damage.
I've handed you something that could, in theory, be used to increase your P rating for a temporary amount of time with severe risks.
Without taking damage.
Like I said, severe risks. Again, depending on which
But
one.
it's a risk of damage, not a guarantee of damage.
Let's just say a risk of what kind of damage. You saw what happened to the captain. A raving
Yes, but
lunatic.
she was a human. They're not immune to all of the things that I am.
Okay.
I'm immune to everything. I'm a pak'ma'ra.
Except
Well, Ty is gonna anonymous tip to I mean, she just really doesn't even need to do that. She's gonna just tell Dooley what she found and get Dooley to relay this info that the captain got fed weird drug by the chief medical officer. She's gonna whistleblow, basically.
fair enough.
Not the whole thing. Like,
all
she's not gonna tell
information.
everyone she knows he's a war criminal, but that one specific aspect, absolutely.
Okay. By the way, also with for Mirgrat, there is one other thing about this as a potential. You'll notice it's also a potential anti-Agathan. You know what that is?
No.
A what now?
Anti-Agathan. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Not ringing any bells for me.
It halts the process of aging and possibly reverses it for up to a certain period.
Oh, like the war criminal thing.
Uh-huh.
He gave the captain war criminal drugs.
Potential possibility of war criminal drugs. Yes.
He gave the captain war criminal drugs. Let's not beat around the bush.
Fair. Not to be technical. Not exactly. To be a general. Yes.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's why it's all experimental. These are all anti-Agathan things like drugs. And yes. So Ty, you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to give anonymous a tip. You just whistleblow straight to Dooley, and Dooley will take it to whomever.
Yeah, she's not gonna give out that she has this book because she wants to sell that to somebody at some point, but the rest of it, absolutely.
Okay. So,
All right.
the question is did you want to confront Doc Rule about this before you blew the whistle?
No. I would
Okay.
never do that. It's not gonna confront somebody she's about to accuse of being a war criminal.
Fair. Well, I thought you were just not, you were going to confront in the way of the give me money or I bring him the book. In the meantime,
Oh yeah, no. She's
it's a-
thinking about like trying to sell the book to EarthGov. She's not interested in whatever like couple thousand credits like Doc Rule might have lying around.
Gotcha. Okay. So there's that. So I guess that's the secret kept. Which, by the way, literally the image on the card "secret kept" is a book.
Oh, there you go.
So that
Also, I will say, I expect all information from Ty to come in the form of an anonymous tip.
Let's
Like,
be real.
If we ask Ty what she wants in her coffee, we're going to get an anonymous tip that Ty likes milk and sugar.
I was honestly expecting like just milk and sugar or just the. So Ty, what do you want for breakfast? Oh, nothing. Oh, looks I got a telegram. It says bacon, eggs, and toast. I wonder what that's about. Okay. As for the collective memory, though, here's where it gets interesting because your body is unstable. Amongst everybody who was on the vision, yours was the most mentally unstable. You're not in your own body.
Mhm.
And of all the people there, you were the only one not in your own body.
Mhm.
So you
and the kid.
The kid never touched.
Yeah, he wasn't on the shuttle.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He
That's
was
right.
grounded.
Yeah, well, no, he was there. He's the one who said, "Where have you been? You've been gone for 6 minutes."
But he wasn't on the shuttle because he isn't even supposed to be here.
Exactly. So, and he wasn't on the original. Yada yada. Anyway,
Yeah.
you've been having nightmares every now and then, and you get little glimpses of other people's lives and existences through that part of that share. And again, that image of both the Vorlon conversation and that stingray thing, that manta ray thing, has been just haunting you here and there. And now you, every now and then, not all the time, not like a schizophrenic without his meds, but like you get a little whisper every once in a while in the back of your head about something like that. Like there's somebody in the room with you, or there's, walking along the promenade, you think someone's calling your name, you turn around, there's nobody there. It's not all the time, and it's not flagrant. It's just more like the itch at the back of your head. Like this is something you're supposed to be doing, but it's not.
Oh, like when I have anxiety dreams in September about not having gotten Christmas present.
Something like that, yes. Or if you want to...
Not that I do that.
Well, here's one that actually happened to me, and it's a great example in a weird way. I had a dream one time. I was walking around thinking to myself, dear God, I'm tired. I'm so tired that I walked into a diner. I walked right past a couple of people with dog heads. I laid right down at the bench of a booth, lay down, closed my eyes, and said, why can't I get any sleep? Dear God, why can't I sleep? While I was asleep.
Oh, good grief.
I've been that tired.
Okay. That sounds bad.
Let's just say it's surreal, and it makes for a great story. But yeah, at the time it was wait, how far in Inception am I? Am I a dream within a dream within a dream? Okay, how many levels down? Come on! You have been spending time on stakeout with the chapel, trying to see who's going in and going out. You've not been able to figure out how to get in. And there are random people every once in a while that go in and out, but as far as you know, your body's in there. You are almost absolutely certain of it. You just, chapel knows that your original body is switched. In other words, the body you're riding was a member of a cult, and if that cult has any...
Sweet.
So, you've been playing stakeout for a while. So, after that long conversation about what's been happening in the interim...
What? Did you think I was going to tell you everything right here, right now? This was the catch-up episode, a prequel, if you will. But things very much get very different very soon. Join us next time as Ty deals with the cultists, and where we continue our great setup for season 3. Yes? Good. Now, in the meantime, I have to pass out now. I don't know what's been added to the coffee, but it is enough that I have to go lay low. Oh, look, I have fingers.
And that's where we're in for this week. I want to thank everyone for joining us and hope that you continue to join us every 2 weeks for another episode of Odyssey. If you have any questions, comments, constructive criticisms, or just want to say hi, then you can find us at temporalplaygrounds.com/Odyssey, or email us at temporalplaygrounds@gmail.com, or find us on Facebook, Odyssey, a Babylon 5 RPG podcast, or Reddit, r/OdysseyB5. Babylon 5 was created by J. Michael Straczynski and is owned by Warner Brothers Domestic Media. The Babylon 5 role-playing game was produced by Mongoose Publishing utilizing the OGL gaming license for D20. Our audio engineer is Gabriel Belden. Our theme music, Titan Striker, was composed by Evan King. Incidental music provided by Tabletop Audio at tabletopaudio.com. All other music provided by Creative Commons license and is available of information on our website. Once again, I am Daniel, and I thank you for joining us on this grand adventure. Good night, and keep dreaming.